Welcome to Worth Coin. Most people spend this coin every single day without realizing it could secretly be one of the most talked about modern dimes among collectors, and that simple mistake could cost them a life-changing opportunity. Imagine opening an old coin jar, pulling out what looks like an ordinary 2021 Roosevelt dime, and discovering that collectors are desperately searching for examples with extraordinary characteristics. It sounds impossible, but the world of rare coins has proven countless times that ordinary pocket change can hide extraordinary stories. Stay with me, because before this video ends you'll discover why this modern dime has captured the attention of collectors, what details separate an everyday coin from an incredible rarity, and why the biggest surprise isn't even the only mystery waiting for us today. And trust me, you will want to stay until the very end, because after this coin, we'll be uncovering two more unbelievable dimes with stories that become even stranger. But I'm not revealing those secrets just yet. Now let's reveal the incredible headline that has collectors talking. Some reports and collector claims have associated extraordinary examples of the 2021 Roosevelt dime, with values reaching an astonishing $21 million under extremely rare and unique circumstances, a number so breathtaking that it immediately makes people rush to check every dime they own. Whether you believe such extraordinary claims or simply enjoy the thrill of rare coin collecting, one thing is certain. Remarkable coins have rewritten ordinary lives before, and every collector knows that history has a habit of repeating itself when least expected. So don't skip ahead, because later in this story I'll explain the tiny details that could completely change the way you look at every Roosevelt dime in your pocket. And I'll also tease another modern dime that has collectors whispering in excitement without revealing its shocking story yet. The Roosevelt dime has always represented much more than 10 cents. Introduced to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt after his tremendous impact on American history, the dime became a symbol of resilience, determination, and national pride. By the time 2021 arrived, millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes had already entered circulation, making most people believe there was nothing exciting left to discover about such a modern issue. That assumption is exactly what makes this story fascinating, because history has repeatedly shown that rarity is not always about age. Sometimes it is about timing, unusual production circumstances, unexpected minting variations, or tiny details so small that only careful observers ever notice them. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small p mint mark, continued striking enormous quantities of coins during this period, producing dimes that traveled into cash registers, vending machines, parking meters, and coin jars across the nation. Almost nobody looked twice at them. They were simply another piece of everyday change. But experienced collectors understand something the average spender often overlooks. Modern coins can become incredibly desirable when unusual characteristics appear during production. A tiny difference in the strike, a dramatic die crack, an off-center strike, a double design element, or an unexpected die chip can instantly transform an ordinary coin into something collectors eagerly search for. Imagine a quality control inspector missing one unusual die during a busy production schedule. Thousands of perfectly normal coins leave the presses, but mixed among them are only a handful displaying remarkable features. Those few coins quietly disappear into circulation, traveling through grocery stores, coffee shops, restaurants, and gas stations, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize what everyone else ignores. That possibility is exactly what fuels the passion of coin collectors across America. Every handful of change becomes a treasure hunt. Every forgotten coin jar becomes a mystery chest. Every inherited collection becomes an adventure waiting to unfold. Stories circulate throughout the hobby about collectors discovering valuable varieties where nobody expected them. Someone sorting coins on a kitchen table notices an unusual shine. Another collector spots an odd alignment beneath a magnifying glass. Someone else finds an exceptional strike with mirror-like surfaces that stand far above ordinary circulation pieces. Whether those discoveries become legendary auction pieces or simply treasured additions to personal collections, they remind everyone that remarkable finds often begin with curiosity rather than luck alone. One of the biggest reasons collectors examine modern dimes so carefully is because condition matters enormously. Two coins minted on the same day can have dramatically different collector appeal depending on how they were preserved. A coin immediately stored in protective holders may retain brilliant surfaces, sharp details, and exceptional eye appeal years later, while another entering circulation acquires scratches, wear, and contact because something about the strike catches the eye. Years later, that simple decision becomes the beginning of an unforgettable story. That possibility keeps collectors searching every single day. It is never just about money. It is about discovery, history, patience, and the thrill of finding something overlooked by millions of people. Even seasoned numismatists admit that modern coin collecting constantly produces surprises. Technology improves, minting methods evolve, and yet unexpected varieties continue appearing. Every generation believes all the treasures have already been found until another remarkable discovery changes everything again. That uncertainty keeps the hobby alive. It keeps conversations active at coin shows. It inspires collectors to compare notes, inspect new finds, and share exciting discoveries with others who appreciate the smallest details. If you have a jar of loose change sitting on a shelf, this might be the perfect reason to finally open it. Somewhere inside could be a dime that has never received a second glance. Perhaps it displays unusually strong details. Perhaps an unexpected minting characteristic escaped notice. Perhaps it has remained hidden simply because nobody thought a modern dime deserved careful attention. That is exactly how incredible discoveries often begin. Remember, though, this story isn't finished yet. Later in this series, we're going to examine another modern Roosevelt dime that has created enormous curiosity among collectors for completely different reasons. And after that comes an even more astonishing finale that may completely change your expectations about modern American coinage. I'm not revealing those details today because each coin deserves its own moment, and the surprises become even greater as we continue. Before we finish, take one more careful look at every 2021 P. Roosevelt dime you own. Examine the mint mark. Study the lettering. Look closely at the edges, the strike quality, and every tiny design feature. Compare multiple examples side by side because differences become easier to notice when you know exactly what you're looking for. Most people never take that extra minute, and that is exactly why fascinating discoveries continue happening. The next extraordinary coin in this journey carries its own unbelievable mystery, a mystery that has collectors checking their change with even greater excitement. If today's story captured your imagination, don't miss what's coming next because the next dime's tale becomes even more surprising, and you'll never look at modern pocket change the same way again. Next, 2016 P1 dime. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away without a second thought. And yet somewhere out there, collectors dream of finding one with the right combination of characteristics because it could completely transform an ordinary collection into something unforgettable. Imagine receiving a handful of change after buying a cup of coffee, slipping the coins into your pocket, and unknowingly carrying one of the most fascinating modern Roosevelt dimes ever discussed among collectors. It sounds unbelievable, But stories exactly like this are what keep the rare coin hobby alive year after year. Today we're diving deep into the mysterious 2016 Roosevelt dime, a coin surrounded by incredible collector interest, surprising possibilities, and rumors of astonishing value that continue to fuel excitement across the numismatic world. Earlier we explored another remarkable dime, but don't relax just yet, because the final coin in this series holds an even bigger surprise. And before we reach that grand finale, you'll discover why this 2016 dime has become such an intriguing chapter in modern coin collecting history. Some extraordinary collector claims have associated exceptional examples of the 2016 Roosevelt dime, with values reaching an astonishing $16 million under extremely rare and unique circumstances. Just hearing that number is enough to make anyone stop spending their pocket change and start looking much more carefully at every single dime they receive. Whether such extraordinary values are tied to one-of-a-kind characteristics, remarkable provenance, or exceptionally rare minting anomalies, one thing is certain. Stories like these inspire collectors everywhere to search through jars, drawers, piggy banks, and inherited collections with renewed excitement. But don't leave yet, because before this story ends I'll reveal why experienced collectors inspect modern dimes far differently than most people, and later we'll move toward the final coin whose mystery is even more astonishing than anything we've discussed so far. The year 2016 represented another busy period for the United States Mint, with the Philadelphia Mint producing millions of Roosevelt dimes intended for everyday commerce. To the average person, these coins were simply another piece of change used for parking meters, vending machines, grocery purchases, and countless daily transactions. Hardly anyone paused to appreciate the remarkable engineering involved in producing millions of nearly identical coins with incredible precision. Yet collectors know that perfection is surprisingly difficult to maintain on such a massive production scale. Tiny variations can emerge as dies wear, equipment shifts by microscopic amounts, or production conditions subtly change throughout the striking process. Most of these differences are minor, but every so often, something unusual slips through, creating the kind of variety that keeps collectors searching year after year. Imagine standing inside the mint during production. Massive presses strike blank planchets with incredible force, transforming simple metal discs into detailed Roosevelt dimes in fractions of a second. Thousands upon thousands are produced every hour. Under that tremendous pace, even the smallest imperfection in a die can eventually leave a visible signature on the coins it creates. Sometimes those signatures become fascinating die cracks stretching across the design. Sometimes they appear as dramatic die chips, subtle doubling, weak strikes, or other unusual features that experienced collectors eagerly search for under magnification. Every unusual detail tells part of the coin's production story, making each discovery feel like uncovering a hidden page from American minting history. That is why so many collectors recommend examining modern coins instead of dismissing them simply because they are recent issues. Age alone does not determine rarity. Sometimes scarcity develops because only a tiny number of unusual examples escaped into circulation before mint employees corrected the problem. Those coins then begin a remarkable journey through the economy, passing unnoticed from one owner to another until someone with knowledge recognizes their potential significance. Think about how many times a single dime changes hands over several years. It might travel across multiple states, pass through dozens of wallets, rest inside cash registers, disappear into a child's piggy bank, then reappear years later during a family cleanup. Every stop along that journey increases the mystery because nobody knows exactly where the truly remarkable examples might be hiding today. Perhaps one sits forgotten inside an old coin album inherited from a grandparent. Perhaps another remains sealed inside a forgotten bankroll. Maybe one has spent years resting quietly beneath sofa cushions or inside a kitchen drawer filled with loose change. These possibilities are exactly what make rare coin hunting so addictive. Every search carries the promise of discovering something extraordinary where everyone else sees only ordinary money. Condition remains another enormous factor. Collectors often pursue coins with exceptional luster, razor-sharp details, and minimal imperfections because pristine examples become increasingly difficult to locate as years pass. A coin preserved immediately after leaving the mint can display brilliant surfaces that seem almost untouched by time, while another struck only moments later may accumulate scratches, marks, and wear almost immediately after entering circulation. This difference explains why grading services and experienced collectors spend so much time evaluating surface preservation, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. Sometimes two seemingly identical coins command dramatically different attention simply because one survived in extraordinary condition. Stories shared throughout the collecting community only add to the excitement. One collector discovers an unusual variety while organizing spare change on a rainy afternoon. Another notices an unexpected feature while photographing coins for an online inventory. Someone else purchases an inexpensive group of modern dimes at an estate sale only to uncover a remarkable specimen hiding among completely ordinary pieces. These stories remind everyone that persistence often rewards those willing to slow down and pay attention. Most people rush through life without examining the coins they spend every day. Collectors choose a different path. They study, compare, research, and patiently inspect each detail because they understand that remarkable discoveries rarely announce themselves. They wait quietly until someone curious notices what everyone else ignored. If you own rolls of 2016 Roosevelt dimes, now might be the perfect opportunity to examine them carefully. Compare multiple examples under bright light. Look closely at the mint mark, lettering, torch, branches, rim, and every fine design element. Even subtle differences become easier to recognize when several coins are placed side by side. You never know which tiny detail might spark further research or become the beginning of an exciting discovery. And while you're searching, remember that our journey isn't over. The final coin in this series carries the biggest mystery of them all. Its story has fascinated collectors, inspired endless conversations, and created unbelievable excitement throughout the hobby. I'm deliberately keeping those details hidden because the suspense is part of the adventure, and trust me, the final chapter is worth waiting for. Until then, keep every Roosevelt dime you receive, examine them with fresh eyes, and never underestimate the extraordinary possibilities hidden inside ordinary pocket change. Because if you thought the 2016 Roosevelt dime had an incredible story, the next and final coin will take this journey to an unforgettable conclusion unlike anything you've imagined.